Horns up and welcome to a brand new episode of Headbangers Kitchen. Folks, I've got a question for you. Have you ever eaten Persian food? And if you've eaten it, do you like it? And what is your favorite dish? Now, I've only ever eaten Persian food in the UK, never here in India. But recently, a lot of restaurants have opened up in my city, Bombay, serving Persian food and in general Middle Eastern cuisine. And recently, I ordered a Kebab Koobideh from one of those restaurants. Now, Kebab Koobideh is not just a fun word to say, it's an absolutely delicious dish. So I figured I have to show you guys how to make it. Now, an authentic Koobideh is normally made on these giant flat metal skewers and cooked over a charcoal grill, neither of which I have. So today I'm going to show you my version cooked at home using your oven and also your stove. So anyway, that's been enough jibber jabber, let's get cooking. We're going to start by making some saffron butter. Now, saffron is a spice that is pretty expensive, and while you don't need a lot of it, just a pinch for this recipe, chances are you might not have it, in which case you can just skip it, but it does have a unique flavor to it. Fun fact, it takes 75,000 saffron flowers to make a pound of saffron. Anyway, add your butter to a ramekin and microwave it for about 30 seconds till it's melted. Then just add in a pinch of saffron, give it all a good mix, and then you can set it aside and let it infuse, and you have an epic saffron butter. The next thing you want to do is get a large mixing bowl and a grater along with an onion. Normally white onion is used, but in India we get these pink onions which are called red onions for some reason, but they aren't really red. But fun fact, a quick Google search told me that they are called red onions because their purplish skins were used to make reddish dyes in the old days. Anyway, you want to grate that onion, and you can also use a food processor to do this faster, but you don't want to chop the onion with a knife, and you'll see why in a second. After grating the onion, you'll see all this water. You want to squeeze out that onion water and set it aside. You can also use a sieve to strain the water from the onion, or even a cheesecloth. I'm lazy, so I use my hands. Now, this onion juice you have can be used later, but I'll talk about that in the blog post. Now, to the grated and strained onions, I will add ground meat, and I'm using a mix of lamb and beef. However, you can make this with just lamb or just beef or even chicken, but you want to try and get some fatty meat, at least 20% fat. Now it's time to season the meat, and I shall do so generously with some salt. You need to season your meat properly. Some black pepper powder, about half a teaspoon of turmeric, which is optional. And since I had some sumac lying around at home, I added that as well. Again, it's optional, you can stick to just salt, pepper and onion. And now you gotta give the meat not just a regular old good mix, you need to give this meat the best mix you've ever given anything in your life. I mean, you gotta mix that meat like you mean it. And you need to do it for 3 to 5 minutes till everything is super well combined, and it should be almost sticky to the touch. Once it's mixed, add either a steel bowl or an oven-proof ramekin in the middle of the meat, because it's time to add some smoke flavor to this. I turn on my stove and I heat up a piece of charcoal, and once the charcoal is flaming hot, I drop it in the ramekin. I pour some ghee or clarified butter over it, and as it starts billowing out smoke, I cover it with a lid and leave it for about 20 to 30 minutes for that smoke flavor to penetrate the meat. Now, I mentioned that Kebab Koobideh is cooked on flat metal skewers, which I don't have, so I'm going to make my own flat skewer. And I saw this trick on a channel called Aksa's Cuisine, and I'll link the channel below. Take about 4 regular wooden skewers, tape it on the top, tape it on the bottom, and then take some aluminum foil and wrap up the skewers, and lo and behold, we have our very own flat skewer to use at home. Now that our meat is done smoking, it's time to shape our kebabs. I'm going to cook one batch in the oven, so for that I will take some of that meat and put it on a parchment paper and make a flat square shape out of it. Take your time to shape it so that it's not too thick and that the meat is evenly spread. Then using a spatula, cut out the kebab shape and make yourself multiple kebabs. So I decided to make 3 kebabs out of this. And then you can make little dents in the kebab using your fingers. This is to get the typical shape of the Koobideh kebab, you know. Now I put the parchment paper on my baking tray and pop it into a preheated oven at the highest temperature possible, which is 230 degrees Celsius in my oven. While that is cooking, I try and use a wooden spoon to shape one of my kebabs. The idea was that I'll shape it, I'll pull the meat out, and then I assumed it would retain its shape, but this exercise was a waste of time, so I just had one big kebab log. Anyway, I decided to just use the skewers that I had made, and I proceeded to put the meat on the skewers. Now I gotta be honest, this was quite tough because I'm not an expert, so I can only tell you that practice will make you perfect eventually. But a couple of tips I can share is that you basically make sure that your meat is cold and you wet your hands so that the meat doesn't stick to it, and just practice I guess, you know. Anyway, once I was done with my skewers, I put them in the fridge to chill. Now halfway through cooking my kebabs in the oven, I took them out and I basted them with that saffron butter. Then I let them cook for some more time before pulling out the tray, flipping them over, basting it again with that butter, and then let them finish cooking. Once they were done and out of the oven, it was time to take it to the next level. So I used my blowtorch and gave it a bit of char on both sides, and our oven cooked kebabs are ready. Now for the stovetop version. I heat some avocado oil in my cast iron skillet, and then once it's hot, I place my kebabs in the pan. 2 of them on skewers and 1 without. After about 3 to 4 minutes of cooking on that high heat, I flip them over and I am greeted with the beautiful sight of some epic browning on the meat. So I baste the kebabs with that delicious saffron butter, and then I just admire these beautiful kebabs while my kitchen is enveloped with the smell of grilled meats. Anyway, I flip those kebabs over and I give them another brushing with that butter, and then I remove them from the pan. Now in the same pan, I add in some not so spicy green chilies, some tomatoes that I've cut into halves, and some pieces of onion. And now I'm just going to grill these and serve them alongside the kebabs. You just want to get some color on them. You want like them to get black and blistered. I also never understood why nobody seasons their grilled vegetables, so I season mine with some salt. And then I give those veggies a basting with some of that saffron butter and just let them cook till they are softened and have a nice char on them. And then I remove them from the pan. Now I gotta remove those kebabs from the skewers as well before I serve them, and I'm ready to serve them and eat them as well. I get my plate, I pile up my kebabs, first the oven cooked ones, then the skewered ones. And I know you're asking, Sahil, where is that 6th kebab? Well, I ate it, my friends. It was my snack. Anyway, I add those vegetables as well, and now I give my kebabs one final brushing with that saffron butter. Ooh yeah, look at that, so delicious. And that's all folks, our keto Kebab Koobideh is done and ready. And I'm just gonna stop talking and let you admire those beautiful kebabs. Anyway, enough jibber jabber, time to taste. Alright folks, it's time to taste our Kebab Koobideh. And look who's joining me, Dipti. Hello.
Hi. Guys, I wish you were here to smell the house right now. It smells like goat. The entire house smells like a barn. It is lovely.
Wow, that's not a very promising thing to hear, but shall we dig in?
Yeah.
Alright, so I've given you, one is the oven one. Okay, I think you're eating the oven one first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, try that first. That's the flatter one.
What's the difference? The other one is pan. He doesn't even wait for me.
Not supposed
He
to.
doesn't even answer my questions.
Oven, pan, and the pan one has the skewer, so it's got the hole in it. Yummy.
So, interesting. Okay, so the oven one, it's got the texture that Sahil's dad refers to as bouncy.
Oh my god. The pan one is...
Oh, the pan one is ace. Not bouncy, deliciously juicy. Oh my god.
You know what? It does need that skewer through it. I think it does something. Like the oven one is great, but it's just thick. Which is fine, you know, like if you eat it with something like one of my keto tortillas, and you put a little bit of yogurt dressing, and you put this roasted tomato and onion and roasted chili also. Yeah, but the skewer one, just having, I think, that hole in the middle has allowed it to be juicier. I don't know why.
It's delicious either way.
Oh, yum.
Bit goaty, but delicious.
Well, you can make it with only beef.
It's a bit like licking a goat in the most delicious way possible.
Sometimes I don't know if I should take that as a compliment or not.
You've never licked a goat in your life, have you?
No, have you?
Yeah. We used to have them back home in Kerala.
You didn't look, but I eat the chili.
That's not called eating the chili when you eat just the tip. Right? Oh, it needs the chili.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So try the chili, then I cut it and kept it for you also.
All these veggies, and I thought they were for decoration.
No, you should just eat with your hands. Why are you eating with your fork?
Because it's the polite thing to do. Okay, guys. Here goes. Oh. You really need the chili. It just adds this brightness to it. And there's no spice.
And the onion. Oh. Anyway, I think we've been doing enough jibber jabber. I guess you will enjoy this Kebab Koobideh.
You will.
And
It's making me so happy.
And if you don't like licking goats, then make it with just beef. You can even make it with chicken, though I can't promise it'll taste as good as it does with beef. But that's been enough jibber jabber from the two of us. I will see you on the next episode of Headbangers Kitchen. Until then, Kebab Koobideh.
And go out and lick goats, guys. Live a little.
Oh, yum. Oh, I finished my dinner.
Yeah.
Hey folks, if you like to give it a good mix, why don't you grab one of our Headbangers Kitchen t-shirts? The links are below this video in the description box. And if you want to support this channel, just keep watching more of our recipe videos.